The story we've been sold is simple. Technology makes life easier. New tools create new jobs, and progress lifts everyone. The reality many people feel is rougher. Bills keep rising, entry-level roles keep vanishing, and the path to a stable life is fading like a chalk line in the rain. Welcome to Fog of Work, where we name the game you're really playing and map the exits. Artificial intelligence isn't arriving into an empty field. It's landing on top of a workforce already stressed by stagnant wages, rising costs, surveillance masquerading as culture, and a hiring system that treats people like disposable widgets. AI is not a gentle upgrade to a fair system. It's an accelerant poured on a field of dry grass. If you've felt that unease in your stomach, the sense that your skills, your time, and your future are being quietly discounted, you're not paranoid, you're early. This isn't a video about fear. It's about clarity. We're going to walk through how AI can erase the bottom rungs of careers, why that matters more than any headline about new jobs, what you can do this quarter to keep leverage, and what serious solutions look like at work, as teams, and at a policy level. No slogans, no hero worship, just straight talk for people who have to live with the consequences. So the real question isn't, will AI show up? It's how it shows up in our jobs. That starts with a simple word we keep hearing: exposure, and why it isn't neutral. You'll hear a comfortable phrase in reports and press releases: jobs are exposed to AI. Exposure sounds tidy, like sunlight. But exposure cuts two ways. In some roles, AI augments a worker, removing busy work and boosting quality. In others, AI displaces the human altogether or erases the tasks that used to justify the headcount. Both realities can be true at the same time. What gets glossed over is how exposure maps onto power. If you already have seniority, autonomy, and a reputation, AI often makes you more valuable. You wield the tool. If you're junior or trying to break in, artificial intelligence often removes the tasks that were your training ground. The tool replaces the ladder. That asymmetry changes everything. It doesn't just move jobs around, it reshapes who gets a future. The mistake is thinking in binaries, replaced or not replaced. The real danger is the slow collapse of pathways. If the only job left is own the entire system, but nobody is paid to learn it, the market becomes top-heavy and brittle. One small elite is overworked and overpaid. Everyone else circles the building with a resume. And when exposure lands unevenly, something essential disappears. Not whole careers at first, the rungs that make a career possible. Every craft has a progression. You start with simple tickets, drafts, reconciliations, data pulls, and routine analysis. You make mistakes where it's safe to make them. That's how you become the person who can make the hard calls later. When AI takes those beginner-level tasks, it doesn't just make the team more efficient, it removes the practice field. The short-term spreadsheet looks gorgeous. Fewer people, same output. But talk to anyone who has led a team for a while, and they'll tell you the truth. A pipeline with no trainees becomes a pipeline with no seniors. In 2 or 3 years, you're forced to hunt for ready-made experts you never trained, paying a premium for scarce talent you helped make scarce. A ladder with missing rungs is not a ladder, it's a wall. And when the entry disappears, the people who would have climbed it disappear with it. That's how a working class gets thinned out, not by a single dramatic cut, but by the quiet erasure of the steps that used to carry people upward. If that sounds abstract, it isn't. You can see it in the deployments already live. Warehouses, transport, support, back office. Warehouses now use fleets of autonomous machines to move, sort, and pack. Transportation corridors are filling with increasingly automated operations during low traffic windows. Customer service triage is routed through agents that never sleep, escalating only atypical cases to humans. Back office work, drafting, summarizing, reconciling, reporting, can be auto-generated, then lightly reviewed. None of these deployments are total replacements. That's not the point. The point is the shape of the work that remains. A smaller number of people are asked to own bigger, more complex systems. The first 30 to 50% of tasks that used to go to juniors are handled by tools. Fewer apprentices, fewer on-ramps, fewer chances to learn by doing. If you're already established, this might feel like relief. If you're trying to become established, it feels like a locked door. And if a whole generation hits that locked door, the damage is social, not just economic. On paper, this looks like progress. But progress on a spreadsheet isn't the same as security in a life. We've been taught that productivity growth leads to shared prosperity. It can, but it doesn't have to. When organizations capture productivity gains without sharing them, you get higher margins and flatter payrolls. The "do more with less" slogan becomes permanent policy. Raises become market adjustments. Career ladders become lateral opportunities. AI supercharges this dynamic because it creates measurable outputs and invisible costs. The output looks like speed. The cost looks like a workforce that can't absorb shocks because nobody had time to learn the craft. You can run lean for a while. Then the bill comes due. Errors that nobody catches, systems nobody understands, and turnover that quietly bleeds knowledge from the building. If prosperity isn't shared and pathways aren't protected, productivity becomes a trap. The company wins the quarter, and the working class loses the decade. So who feels the squeeze first when gains aren't shared? The pressure maps onto routine, repeatable work, and onto the entry points that taught us the craft. Risk clusters where work is routine, text-heavy, pattern-based, or physically repeatable. Clerical roles, parts of finance and accounting, slices of logistics and transport, first draft creative work, customer support, quality control. Even in technical fields, the simple tickets that teach people the code base are now auto-suggested away. But there's another map, one you rarely see in glossy charts. It's the map of missing chances. When a role gets augmented, managers often keep the same headcount and raise the bar. That sounds sensible until you realize the bar moved beyond what new workers can clear without help. The result is subtle but devastating. The jobs remain, but the ladder to reach them doesn't. Augmentation can be good. Displacement can be survivable. Ladder removal is fatal, slow, polite, and final. That's how an entire class slides from working to trying to work. Strip away the rungs, and it's not just income at stake. It's identity, dignity, and the social fabric. Most people don't want a throne. They want a life, a place to stand, a way to be useful and respected. When AI deployment is done as a cost-cutting sprint, it doesn't just challenge incomes, it dissolves identity. You can't be proud of owning a system you're never allowed to learn. You can't feel secure if your role is treated like a temporary bridge the company plans to tear down at the first excuse. Maybe you felt this too. The quiet shame that creeps in when applications go nowhere, when "we'll be in touch" turns into silence, when "we love your background" becomes "we went in a different direction." That's not a personal failure. That's the texture of a market making choices it refuses to own. If this is clarifying the fog, subscribe to Fog of Work. Comment where you've already seen entry tasks vanish or smart AI that helps without killing the latter, and share this with one friend who needs to hear it isn't their fault. And here's what keeps people stuck in the fog. 3 myths prop it up. Myth 1. AI will only replace the bad jobs. Reality. AI removes learning tasks across the spectrum, the bad jobs and the good apprenticeships that feed the good jobs. A craft without practice is a museum exhibit. Myth 2, just retrain. Reality. Retraining without paid time, mentors, or live practice is a hobby with a certificate. Employers love to externalize the cost of training. Workers pay in evenings and weekends. The bill for adaptation shouldn't be printed at home. Myth 3, the market will rebalance itself. Reality. Markets follow incentives. If the cheapest, fastest path is rewarded, the cheapest, fastest path wins, even if it destroys the next generation of talent. Rebalancing only happens when leaders, teams, and policies set guardrails that make short-term extraction less attractive than long-term resilience. Myths stall action. Leverage restarts it. If AI is deleting the bottom rungs, here's how you build temporary ones for yourself in the next 90 days. Picture a Monday you can actually steer. You open your laptop and the inbox is already shouting, "Not today." You take a breath. You set a timer for 90 minutes and put the inbox to sleep. One small thing, you tell yourself. Ship one small thing. A checklist you wish you had last week. A 2-paragraph teardown of a messy process. A tiny script that saves 5 minutes for 10 people. You finish it. You add a short note at the top. What it is, what it does, how to use it. You hit publish where someone can find it tomorrow, even if they don't know your name. Now you write to your manager. 90 words. No fluff. Here are 3 headaches I can remove this week. Here's what you'll have in your hands by Friday. You read it out loud once. It sounds calm. It sounds like someone you would hire. You send it. Messages keep chiming. You don't sprint. You batch. You answer at noon, then at 4. In between, you work. Real work. The kind that moves something from we should to we did. You start keeping a small file called before and after. A screenshot here. A metric there. 2 lines of what changed because you touched it. It feels awkward at first. Then it feels honest. An hour appears because a tool did a job you used to do by hand. You do not donate that hour back to the void. You use it to make an asset you own. Clearer notes, a reusable template, a short walk through a stranger could follow. The next time they ask for proof, you have it. You are no longer just promising. You are showing. Midweek, the floor starts to shift. A rumor, a reorg. You don't spiral. You pull out your small plan. Who are 2 people who could vouch for your work? You send them a paste-ready blurb and a simple ask. Can you introduce me to X? You draft a 48-hour sample for a role you want, your idea, your scope, your finish, not perfect, real. By Friday, you write a private job description for yourself, what you actually do, what it's worth out there. If the gap is absurd and won't close, you don't rage. You schedule a conversation, or you schedule an exit, not a leap, a plan, dates, steps. You refuse to be surprised twice by the same thing. You didn't change the world this week. You changed the angle. A little less noise, a little more proof. A calendar that serves the work instead of eating it. That's leverage. It doesn't shout. It compounds. And power, you've noticed, grows faster when it isn't hoarded. If individuals can't outrun system incentives forever, here's how teams, leaders, and policy make augmentation beat replacement. So you try one more experiment. Not alone this time. You walk into the morning stand-up and you ask for a trade. What if we protect the first 2 hours each day? No meetings, heads down, then we talk. People nod. Everyone is tired of talking about doing the work instead of doing it. You try it for a week, the room gets quieter, the output gets better. No memo, just a new rhythm. The next week you make chaos smaller. One person wears the fire drill hat each day. Urgent pings go to them first. Everyone else keeps building. Suddenly, the whole team isn't sprinting all the time. You can hear yourself think. You can finish a thought. It feels like oxygen. Even Slack learns to wait. After 6, it goes dark unless something is truly on fire. You write down what on fire means. You write down what done means. Handoffs stop leaking hours. People stop guessing. The heroics slow down because the boring parts are finally clear. Your manager notices, not the slogans, the calm, the finish. You bring them a one-page brief before the next tool rolls in. What tasks will change, how juniors will still practice, where the missing rungs will be rebuilt. It doesn't fight the future, it designs it. You ask for 1 protected hour a week for learning and documenting. If we pay for it, you say, we'll value it. They agree. Quietly, the pipeline reappears. Up the chain, someone asks about goals. You try a different goal, not just cut costs. Also grow net quality jobs, reward the leaders who raise output, and leave a healthier ladder behind them. The room tilts. You can feel the difference. Efficiency without erosion, ambition without amnesia. And outside your building, the conversation keeps moving. People wonder what to do with the time artificial intelligence saves. You answer with something simple and stubborn. Shorter weeks at the same pay when output rises. Workers at the table when tools change the work. Shared upside when profits jump. Paid learning when roles shift. Ladders rebuilt when first draft tasks vanish. Not ideology, plumbing. The rules that make good choices normal. None of this is dramatic. It's a series of small designs, a morning protected, a hat rotated, a brief written, an hour funded, a ladder rebuilt. When enough people do the small designs, the big map changes. You didn't wait for permission. You didn't beg for miracles. You changed what Tuesday feels like. With rules and habits aligned, you don't need a rescue. You need momentum. And momentum, once it starts, is hard to stop. When people say the working class is in danger, they're describing a system that deletes on-ramps and then blames individuals for not flying. Artificial intelligence can widen that gap or rebuild the rungs we lost. It's not destiny, it's design. You don't have to fix the macro to change your life. Protect your time like it matters. Build proof nobody can take. Set guardrails with your team. Ask leaders to choose resilience over extraction. Demand ladders where tools erase them. And refuse the story that says your struggle is a personal failing. Thanks for watching Fog of Work. I always review every comment. What's one practical move you'll make this week? One boundary, one artifact, or one team agreement? If this helped clear the fog, stick around and watch another video on the channel. We're building a library for people who are done being polite about their lives.